Hey guys, Josh Bowmar here with Bowmar Bowhunting. Today I'm going to show you all how to edit your photos like a pro with just using your phone. This is exactly what most of our photos are edited on, is our phone, and I'm going to show you guys. And guess what? Everything I'm going to show you, it's for free. So we're going to dive into the app and I'm going to show you guys how to edit nighttime photos, landscape photos. We'll show you how to maybe do logo or product emphasis, how to edit around that. Also maybe logo removal. And we'll dive in just how to turn your photos into a professional photo. So let's get started. Snapseed, let's do a landscape photo first. Okay. So this is a photo of me in Alaska. I was grizzly bear hunting with a homemade longbow. And this is actually a pretty good photo, honestly. But what we're going to do is pull out some colors. We're going to pull out some detail. And we're going to get started right now. So this is kind of the layout of the app. You're going to want to click Tools. Now all these options will pop up and they're really overwhelming. And a lot of people give up right here. But what I want to show you guys is just a few of these options that I think is going to help you. So step number one, you click Tools and then click HDR Scape. All right, so it'll pop up all these different options. You got nature, people, fine, and strong. So these are all just pre-filters, all combining into these kind of presets here. So you just kind of start with which one you think looks the best. And okay, so like I like people. And then you can navigate with your finger back and forth. And you'll see up here the filter strength going forwards or backwards. And then you'll notice in the photo kind of the details. So I actually kind of like it right there. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so then if I just press and hold, you'll see before, after. So it brings out a lot of the greens. But you can see the mountains aren't quite detailed enough. So my second option always is after HDR Scape, I'm going to click Details. Okay, so what this will do is brings up two options. You got Structure and Sharpening. So Structure just pulls a lot of detail out. It basically makes all the edges in the photo extremely crisp. So you can see here, that's a little much, right? Like you don't like too much detail in the sky like that, or too much detail in the grass. It almost is unappealing to the eye. Like if I take that down kind of right there, that's pretty good. But you see how the mountains actually look better fully structured, but the rest of the photo doesn't? So this is going to be a good opportunity for me to show you guys how to select an individual part of the photo and just increase the structure in that, or just edit that part of the photo. So we'll just stop right about there. All right. Okay, so now let's just say I want to add structure just to the mountains. You click Tool, all these options again, Selective. So this selective tool allows you to select just any particular thing, and you can pinch and zoom and do all these things to get details, but for sake of simplicity, I'm just gonna leave it out. Click the mountain. Now, if you need to move it around, you can kind of press it. You can kind of press slightly and it pulls up like a scope. So I just want to make sure it's right on the mountain. Now, if you take your fingers, you can kind of see how the structure changes by increasing or the distance or decreasing, pulling together or further apart. So I want to get all the mountains as much as I can. You can see this one's not taken, but pretty good. And then here you can navigate with your finger up and down different options. So I'm going to go all the way to the bottom, which is structure. All right, and then I'm going to swipe my finger to the right. If I click this little eyeball, it'll show me what it looks like. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, so then I will click OK, and then see how this is more detailed than that. So then what I'll do is select over here, click that, do the structure there, and bam. So that looks pretty good. Still not quite bright enough on me. So I'm going to use the select tool again and just click it on me, shrink it down to where it's just me, and then I'm going to swipe my finger to the right and I'm going to pull out the brightness of me. Bam! Now we're talking. That looks pretty good. I do like this. It's a little much in the sky, so I may do select and then click up here on the sky and then maybe destructure it just a touch to where it's not quite as dark. But yeah, all in all, I think that's a pretty good job. So we look at this photo before versus after. Before, after. So I think that's pretty good. Alrighty. Next up, let's go and navigate a nighttime photo. Okay, so this will be a cool one. So this is Sarah's elk. And this photo looks completely unusable, right? Like, there's people in there. It's way too dark. There's no detail in this photo at all. Most people would just throw this photo away. Well, let's go through what we've already learned. So we go to Tools, HDR, and bam, right out of the gate, you can see there's a lot more detail to this photo than we thought. Okay, so I like people more. So right out of the gate with one button, you can see the difference in this photo. This photo is now manageable. So then we'll go up here. We've already done HDR scape. We'll go up to details, increase structure. It's a little much. Come down to here. And then we can also increase sharpness. Not too bad. Boom. Just like that. That photo is 1,000 times better. Ready to go. So that is pretty good. Export. Save a copy. Done. All right, so let's do another photo. Okay, so how about let's do another nighttime photo. I think this would be good. Okay, so this is Sarah's buck she killed a few years back. And this photo doesn't look too bad, but there's actually a lot of detail in this photo that we're missing. And so like this, for example, you can see the snow building up on the body of the deer. You got Sarah's arrow sticking out. You got there's actually color in those leaves that you can barely see. There's a lot of detail in this. So what we'll do, we'll go to Tools, and you'll notice a lot of this is a lot of repetition, and I think that's how anybody learns. So again, HDR, we'll see things. And you just navigate through these at the bottom. I kind of like nature. So we'll kind of look at that, find it, bam, that looks great. And so we'll look around, all right, so then Tools, Details, Increase Structure. So this is actually good. I'm glad this works out. So you notice like, okay, this looks super cool. Like the deer looks all great. You got details in here, but then when you go over here, see how Sarah's face looks kind of weird in comparison to before? Like there's too much detail pulled into the face. But the rest of the photo looks really good. So I'll show you how to unstructure just her face and the rest of the photo stays the same. So we'll go ahead and leave that there. We'll go to Tools, Selective. Now we'll zoom into just her face, click on her face, and we'll swipe this down to where it's just her face, and then we'll swipe up to where it's just structure, and then we'll swipe to the left, which now decreases the structure. So there, you can kind of see it's a lot better. Do you see how her neck is also a little orange? You see that? There's almost like a orangish hue to her skin. So that is an imbalance in the saturation in the photo. So if the whole photo is bad, you can go up to Tune Image, and this gives you all these options, which I'll go over in a different video or a different photo in a minute, but this will allow you to just test the whole photo so you can decrease saturation to give it a totally different look, like black and white, somewhere in between, and then you can see the opposite effect. So I'm swiping to the right, you can see saturation up there, moving to the right, and then you kind of come down. So it kind of looks better there with a little bit of saturation taken away. So I click the check mark. Now Sarah's face still has a little bit of an orange hue. So again, we'll go to Tools, Selective. Now her face is okay, but that neck, it kind of has an orange hue. So we're going to shrink that sucker down to where it's just her neck. And then we're going to swipe up to saturation and decrease the saturation to where it matches her skin. Bam. It's a lot better. Okay. So there you guys have it. There's an option. Now, see, there's a lot of extra around this photo too, of like empty space that doesn't matter. So I actually would like to add a vignette to this. So you have this right here. And all that does is add like a black ring around the outside. That's an extreme. So the outer brightness, if you swipe to the left, it decreases. If you swipe to the right, it actually makes it brighter, like this. So I want to bring it down just a little bit to about right there. There you go. We have ourselves a perfect photo. And again, I'm editing this really fast. So, okay. Now I'm going to recap this really quickly just so you guys can know. So right here's the before, after, before, after. So again, all I did, if I go to revert, we'll go back there. I went to tools, HDR, people, increased it to right about there till it felt good. Check. Then I went to details, structure, increased the structure all the way. Made the photo look pretty good. Check. I wanted to decrease the structure in her face, so I went to the selective tool, zoomed in on her face, clicked her face, swiped it down, went to decrease the structure. Actually, I want to make sure it's on her skin. There we go. Decrease the structure on her face. Bam. Went to tools, tune image. Went swiped down to saturation. Decrease the saturation just a little bit. Bam. There you go. And that looks pretty good. And again, if I want to get super picky, I can change the color of their neck a little bit. But there you go. Before, after. All right, let's go to the next photo. Okay, next photo. Let's see here. Let's do a logo removal. So this is a great photo, right? Let's say you don't like Under Armour and you want to get rid of that horrible logo. Okay, and we're going to get rid of these logos. All right, so quick logo removal. And you can do this with trail cameras, like if you wanted to take a particular brand out or something, you can do this in your photos. So again, we'll go to Tools, and there's a Healing tab over here. Whoops, clicked the wrong button. All right, Healing. So now this is where your pinch and zoom is going to matter. So you want to zoom in nice and tight. So now you're going to do, I have the healing tab, and I just click this, and I can swipe and kind of make this go away, right? So it's not perfect by any means, and it looks kind of bad at this level because we're so zoomed in. But all in all, like if you zoom out, like you can't even tell. So you come up here. You want to take out this logo. Again, it's just for small things. Like you can do this a much more advanced version of this in Photoshop. That's a lot better. But again, we're working with our phone here with a free app. So you get kind of what you pay for, right? All right, so again, when you zoom out, it doesn't actually look too bad. So that's right there you go. So we'll zoom in. You can see the before. Here's the before, after. Before, after. So that is how you remove a logo. Next photo. So let's talk about emphasizing a logo or product. So this photo is really cool because we want to emphasize the Hoyt RX3 in this photo, right? Because that's clearly what this photo is taken for. The RX3 and the Hoyt is in perfect focus, and the foreground, the elk's kind of blurred out. All right, so let's pull all the attention to this. So we're going to use a lot of the select tool. But before I do this, I want to edit the photo itself. So if I look at this photo, I'm actually going to edit. So I could go to Tools, HDR, like I've showed you guys before. But do you see how overdone it is? This happens a lot whenever you have product photos because the background's blurry and then what's close to the camera's in focus. So you get this like over-edited, nasty look that's not good. So I'm going to show you guys how to individually edit this. Basically what HDR scape is doing, it combines a bunch of different settings. So I'm going to show you how to manually do each one of those settings. So we'll go to Tune Image. So now what that did was that basically gave me options to all these individual settings to work with. So we can change the brightness, mess around with that. We can change a lot of different things. So with this, I'm going to go straight to saturation because these are kind of dull greens and the bow's kind of dull, and that green, you can kind of see how that green's dull. and I'm going to increase that just a touch. All right, so that kind of popped the colors. So before, after, subtle, but good. All right, so now I want more details in the clouds. So I go back to tune image, and I'll go to highlights. So when you actually decrease your highlights, it'll pull detail into the skies. Watch this. As I decrease, do you see how it pulls detail into the sky? Just like that, okay? And then shadows, I can increase, and you'll see how that kind of, watch what it does to the blacks. See how the blacks kind of turn gray? And then if I take the shadows down, the blacks turn super black. So there's a fine line in there. I personally don't want to change anything with that. All right, so that, and then we can do warmth, take it down, and you can kind of just play around to where it's perfect. So I think right about there is actually pretty good. Okay, so you can kind of see the difference so far, right? More details in the clouds, a little brighter greens. Now we want to work on making this pop. So we want that to be the sharpest part of the image. So we'll go to Tools, Selective. We're going to zoom in and click right there. So this is, again, redundant. We're going to reduce this down to where it's just with my fingers until it's just on the label there. And we're going to go swipe up into structure. Bam. So there we go. We got that done. And so now that's going to be more crisp. And we're going to want to do the same thing to Hoyt. Selective. Click it. Right there. Swipe up. Structure. Structure that sucker. Alrighty. So there. So now we got ourselves a pretty epic photo here. And so again, with a lot of this empty space, I'm going to add another vignette. Like this. I'm going to put it right around here. Just a little bit. So it pulls some of that brightness away, focuses your attention straight into the product. So there's the before, after. Before, after. Okay. Done. Next photo. Okay, so this next one, we are going to do a star photo. We're going to do two more photos. We're going to do a star photo and a landscape photo. So let's go ahead and do a nighttime star shot. So this is a long exposure with the DSLR camera, which overall looks okay. I mean, this would probably be like a C. All right, so tools, HDR. Well, that looks pretty good. We'll try nature, people, strong, crap, pretty good. Even better. I like nature. I'll see if there's anything. I kind of like it right there. Bam. So one button, click and hold, before, after. Okay. So I still want more detail in the sky. So I'll go to detail and I swipe right on structure. And I kind of like the sky, but I really don't like the rest of it because it's kind of right there. Okay. And I'll increase the sharpening a little. It's too much. All right. So it's kind of dull through the greens in the front, and the stars I think could be a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to tune image like this. I'll slow down, tune image. And then we're going to swipe up to saturation and see if increasing the saturation makes any part of the photo look better. Maybe the grasses a little bit, but everything else is not good, right? So even like a black and white photo. So we'll just keep that right there. Okay, so I'll go selective tool, click up here to the stars, expand that to the stars, and I'll increase the structure up here, pulling a little more detail into the clouds. Alrighty, so we're looking here. That looks pretty good, honestly. I mean, all in all, I like that photo, so I don't think we need to go any further. So again, all we did was HDR escape, and then we went to details and added some structure into the photo. So nothing too serious on this particular one. We could do more. We can go to selective tool and go to the grasses, for example, and then individually increase the saturation in the grass to make it more vibrant and green. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's real necessary to make that better. Okay. A landscape photo. So this is a cloud photo. Okay, so this photo, you look at this photo and you literally, oh, sorry. Okay, so you look at this photo and you're like, oh my gosh, that is such a beautiful sunrise. but these guys, you can't see them. It's not that great of a photo. So you would chalk it up as a decent photo. Well, I'm about to blow your guys' mind on what we can do with this. So again, we'll go to Tools, HDR Escape, there we go. And we're gonna navigate through here. Holy cow. Okay, so strong looks really good. I like the details in that. Let's look at nature. People, fine's no good. Strong or nature? I kind of like nature more. Let's navigate through the filter. Actually, I kind of like it right about there. Okay, so one click of a button. I mean, that's a massive difference. But the detail here is not quite there yet. See, the sky looks really good. The grass is dull. We're kind of dull. So let's go fix this. So I'll go to Tools, Selective, and I'm going to click on me, and then swipe this down to where it's just Sarah and I. So expand it to where it's Sarah and I. So then I'll increase the brightness. That's not terrible. So let's just increase the structure. There we go. So structure also helps pull in like colors and details. So you can kind of see there. So I'll increase structure, reduce the brightness just a little bit because it'll take away that halo effect. Now we're talking. So this is before and after. I mean, we're making some amazing progress. Okay. So now we want to go to Tune Image, go to Saturation, swipe up, and see if increase in saturation looks pretty good anywhere. All right, so you see how the sky's too blue now? But the grass is actually kind of nice. So that tells me that I want to do the Selective tool. Go to Tools, Selective, and just select the grass like this instead of the sky. And then I'll go to Saturation and increase the greens and the grasses a little bit there. And then see, this side didn't get it. So we'll do the same thing over here. Go right here. Increase the saturation just a little. Pull out some of the greens. And I might reduce the overall saturation just a skosh. Just a touch. And we're done. Before, after. I mean, that's like a totally different photo. There we go. Okay, guys. So again, the whole point of this and these editing apps and all this stuff is not to fabricate something that wasn't there. The whole goal of this is just for you to be able to see in a photo even remotely close to what you experienced in real life. And again, because your eye has thousands of megapixels and your phone has like 20. So, I mean, you guys have all experienced this where you see a beautiful sunset, you take a photo and you're like, what the heck? That's not even close. So these apps and techniques that I just shared with you allows you to pull out that detail that you saw in real life. I'm not encouraging you to add in skies and clouds and things that aren't there. You know, my goal for this is to just share with you guys how to get the most out of your photos, especially when you're out in the woods. I mean, we literally spend so much time in God's country where it is the most beautiful scenery you could ever imagine. Whether you're sitting in a tree stand out in the Midwest or you're in the mountains of Idaho chasing elk. I mean, every day we get to see the sun rise and set more than any other type of person. So guys, capture those with photos and use this app or any of your app choices and try making the most out of each one of your photos. So again, if you like this photo, please hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up and let me know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, please follow us on our social media accounts on Bowmar Bowhunting and Bowmar Archery, where we post archery related content every single day.